Hey everyone, probably going to get some hate and some backlash and pushback for this one, but it's okay. Putting yourself out there, that happens. I'm going to do it anyways because fuck it. What do I got to lose, right? Um, this is for me too, not just for you guys. Autism. We're in an epidemic. It's very clear. What is it? 1 in 28, 1 in 34, something like that. Children now have it. Well, in the past, it was like 1 in 10,000, and it's even 1 in 1,000 is too much. It's crazy. And this coincides with how many vaccines that are given now to people. It's like 25 to 30, and they've just combined them all into one. Let's take DTaP for example. um, Diphtheria, tinnitus, and pertussis, I think is how you say it, whooping cough vaccine. Combine them all into one. So you're still getting 25 to 30 shots as a newborn baby for the 3 6 9 month period. Same with the COVID shot, right? Which absolutely you should not be taking and never giving to your kids. That's absolute poison. And don't believe me, read the literature on it. But the literature isn't just a quick Google search. You got to go in and look at the science. Go on Frontiers, go on PubMed, do the research because it's there. There's 34,000 peer-reviewed studies on the COVID shot and how unsafe it is. So yeah, anyways, the mainstream media will eventually be forced to report this. I mean, they already kind of are a little bit, sort of. And yeah. So, anyways, going back to what I was going to say, they're combining all these vaccines into one and giving like Hep B vaccine to they're giving these kids, and the DTaP vaccine is horrible because it contains aluminum hydroxide. And if you look at what aluminum hydroxide does, it damages the brainstem, which can cause asymmetries in the face, like in autistic people, especially when like one eye is out, one eye is in. Like your lips, and when someone smiles, kind of off like that, opposite. Asymmetries like that are quite common in people who have autism, and this is why. And we've studied a lot of aluminum hydroxide and heavy metals and how they do damage the brainstem and leading to neurological disorders like this, right? And like I said, our kids are given more vaccines than ever. Fresh out of the womb, they're given these vaccines that are super unnecessary, and that's why 1 in 30 people have autism now. This isn't just some conspiratorial craziness thing, although some people do believe that, and that's fine. I think denial is a very strong drug of itself, and if you don't like what you hear, then you don't have to watch this. But this is my opinion. This is the research I've done, and yeah, there might be some pushback, but that's okay. And I would honestly invite you, if there is some resistance to this, to look at the books, look at the research, go look this all up. It's not just me that can see it, you can too. Read books about it. Like, it's the writing's on the wall with this type of thing. But anyways, lean into the resistance. Always resistance. There's always something to teach you there every single time. Not easy though, right? So yeah, anyways, the brainstem damage, like I was saying, this leads to so many issues. This aluminum, and it's in not all these vaccines, I should say. It's in a lot of them though, and we're still giving this shit to children. It's crazy. Why are we doing this? And here some people are scratching their heads. Why is there so much autism? It's like the writing is on the wall. I read a book called I'll get it here for you guys, The Autism Vaccine. I'll show it to you. You can get a little visual. It's The Autism Vaccine, the story of modern medicine's greatest tragedy. Boy, was this a really good book, and it's all backed by scientific literature. And before that, I read his other book called The Moth and the Iron Lung. It's about polio and how he believes, and I do too after reading this, that it was the heavy metals that caused this epidemic, and absolutely makes sense once you read this. And just like the autism vaccine, it's again heavy metals, aluminum hydroxide causing this, right? It goes on in the book talking about they've exhausted all options. They've looked at genetics once in history before. It failed miserably. Then they looked at it a second time, thinking, okay, maybe we'll find something this time. It failed miserably. And then so they went on to blame mothers of these children, parents. It was the parenting. This is the time when psychoanalysis and Freud started to come in. And so all this shame on these poor mothers, it was evoked upon them. And yeah, and it wasn't that either. So what is it? Well, if it's none of those things, if it's not genetics, it's not parenting, what is it? This kid's just born neurologically disordered. It doesn't make sense, but it does make sense when you look to the vaccines and the food. Although I don't think food is the reason this is happening, because a newborn baby didn't really get any food, right? Sure, the mother eats some food and maybe she drinks or smokes or something like that, right? And sure, those can contribute to increased numbers in neurological disorders, but this isn't epidemic levels. And also the theory that has been disproven time and time again that people still tend to bring up, which I think is a little crazy, is we've just gotten better at diagnosing it. Not true. And that's been proven in the literature too. And there was another theory, was it? Or kind of question, wondering why is all these kids getting autism from, and their parents are perfectly like healthy mentally and they have like very professional careers, or like musicians and lawyers and like doctors and like psychologists, and like they don't have this. So genetics are completely ruled out. Epigenetics also, it's not this, it's, and as soon, so many mothers out there have seen this happen to their kid. They have seen their child take a fucking vaccine and then right after, a week after, lose their speech, lose their ability to walk. This isn't conspiracy, this isn't bullshit, this has been talked about for so long, but it's been so suppressed that it's disgusting, because these companies are not willing to admit the fuck ups they have done and the catastrophe they have caused in humanity. There's a lot of nefarious people. Shouldn't say a lot, but within these entities there are. Unless some of them just really don't realize what they're doing, but I would find that really hard to believe. But that's up to you what you want to believe. I mean, it doesn't really help believing negative thing, but I like to keep opti-pessimistic is like what I call it. So yeah, there's also a counter argument that I would like to address too. Is like, oh well, the amount of aluminum in the vaccines is so low. You're right, and that's the problem. They did a study to prove this in 2016 with monkeys. They took two groups of monkeys and they gave them aluminum hydroxide injected from a vaccine, I think it was, into them. One group had less, one group had more. And the group that had less got way more issues with their organs, with their brain disorders, all sorts of different things happen. It's a 2016 study. I can't remember the name of it, but you can look it up. It's there for anyone that wants to see it. And because I can just quickly explain why this happens, is because your body, when it has a higher level of heavy metals injected into it, it sees it as an invader and then it walls it off. I think with antibodies or some type of cells, I can't remember the technical scientific term for it, and walls it off, right? And then it protects you from it. But when there's low amounts, it kind of goes more undetected. And then what happens is it free floats through the lymphatic system, through the through your pancreas, through your heart, not your heart, your liver, and through your kidneys, and then it ends up going where? Unfortunately, to your brain eventually, or your gut, and then this causes a reaction, and then boom, aluminum hydroxide goes into by your brainstem, and then this is what is causing neurological disorders, especially autism. This isn't a mystery. This isn't a conspiracy. This is peer-reviewed medical literature, and this is not opinion. So, yeah, and just full disclosure, I have no personal ties to like any of these stories or anything like that. I don't have any, well, I shouldn't say I don't have any bias. Maybe I have a little bit of a bias. Yeah, I probably do, just because of, my history and being diagnosed and kind of wanting to figure out what the hell's going on because it didn't make sense. But I try to remove that the best that I can, right? And that's why I read the book and gave myself some time to integrate it after. And yeah, and I'm very confident this is the thing, because like I said, all other options from my understanding have been exhausted. Maybe not all, but pretty much most that you can. But I'd love to hear like another opinion or debate counter to this, why it could be something else. I've thought of all the things that I could think of, and it just doesn't make sense how it's something could be anything else other than this. And the suppression too of the information is a pretty good indicator also of like probably landing on a bit of truth. And then you see people attacking other people for bringing this up, and then what they'll usually do is they'll attack the person, not their ideas. And as soon as you see that happening, this person who is attacking them is standing on extremely feeble ground. Um, And yeah, it's evoking a lot of fear in people. It's a psychological defense, right? Where they just project and attack and, oh, conspiracy. And it's sad because I can see behind that the inner psychological workings of that. That's not what these people believe. They believe, well, they believe this because they've been told this, and that's what the news does. And these nefarious people, right? Legacy media, they tell you what they want you to believe, and these people are just compulsively spewing that out, not even taking some time to look at the research, to formulate their own opinion. And that's dangerous. That's also nefarious. That is not okay to be doing that. You need to think critically and not compulsively, and then speak to it and have a healthy debate if you don't agree, not just spew out garbage and toxicity and fear. And yeah, like, this isn't okay. um, so I think too, a lot of other people's reactions, also like strong reactions, is another telltale sign that we're onto something here. And you look at, Make America Healthy Again movement, RFK. He knows about this too. He's written books about this, and something's going to come out to the public, and I think it's going to be shocking for a lot of people. But what can you do? Anyways, thanks everyone for listening. That's just kind of my whole take on the thing. And again, the book's called The Autism Vaccine: The Story of Modern Medicine's Greatest Tragedy. I hope you read it, and I hope you keep an open mind and keep keeping an open mind, because things are about to get pretty fucking interesting in the landscape. So, see you next time. Have fun.